Hello, my dear doctor, right? Now, what topic that I'm discussing now? This is 5-star topic once again. This is diabetes insipidus. So, diabetes insipidus is a condition characterized by either a deficiency of anti-diuretic hormone, ADH, that is cranial DI, cranial diabetes insipidus, or an insensitivity to anti-diuretic hormone, that is nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. Causes of cranial DI means idiopathic, post-head injury, pituitary surgery, craniopharyngioma, and histiocytosis X. And DID-MOD is an association of the cranial diabetes insipidus, DID-MOD, DI for diabetes insipidus, DM for diabetes mellitus, OA for optic atrophy, and last is the deafness, is a Wolfram syndrome. Causes of nephrogenic diabetes insipidus is a genetic. The most common form affects the vasopressin receptor. Means the resistance, right? The less common form results from a mutation in the gene that encodes the aquaporin 2 channel. So circle the aquaporin 2 channels and vasopressin receptor circle. It equalizes the hypercalcemia and hypokalemia. Drugs are the demiclocycline and lithium. Tubulointerstitial diseases are the obstruction, sickle cell, pyelonephritis. And features are, of course, the polyuria and polydipsia. Investigations, the high plasma osmolality and low urine osmolality. And water deprivation test is a diagnostic test for the diabetes insipidus. This is a very hot topic, like the 5-star topic for us, and causes of diabetes insipidus is a very hot topic for exam. So knowing all the causes is really important. So look at the board, what I am going through. So SS box once again, diabetes insipidus. We are dividing into the diabetes insipidus the cranial. So cranial DIC I am saying. So cranial diabetes insipidus, the single cause that you must remember, cranial diabetes insipidus is a craniopharyngioma. Say with me, craniopharyngioma. So I said the diabetes insipidus cranial, say with me, craniopharyngioma is the diagnostic that we must remember. Just look at the board. DIC, as I said, the craniopharyngioma. Right, so craniopharyngioma. And the next diagnosis that we need to remember, that is histiocytosis X. But I put the C, means I want to make this rule of C of craniopharyngioma and histiocytosis X. That will be helpful. And next you see the cranial surgery. We can write cranial surgery. Means at least the fact there is the pituitary surgery. And once in the cranial injury, any trauma. Alright? And next point, yes, there is a Wolfram syndrome, but I am putting that is Wolfram's syndrome. Means the, yes, DID-MOD. So these 4 important things that we need to remember, my dear. What I am saying? Just follow me. DIC, once again, C for cranial diabetes insipidus. So rule of C. As I say, cranial, the single thing that we need to remember, craniopharyngioma. Yes, once again, next is the histiocytosis X, cranial surgery, and Wolfram syndrome. So this box of rule of C of cranial diabetes insipidus will be helpful. Next point, let's see. SS box for diabetes insipidus, nephrogenic. Nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, if you need to remember the single cause, hypokalemia. What I said? hypokalemia, K for potassium, that we need to remember. The nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, hypokalemia due to any causes can cause nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. So diabetes insipidus, nephrogenic, we need to remember the single cause, as I said, potassium. I said the hypokalemia, a bundle pack, is a hypercalcemia. We need to remember this bundle pack. Hypokalemia or hypercalcemia is one of the electrolytes abnormalities that we need to remember. The single cause, as I said, cranial diabetes, craniopharyngioma. In contrast, the nephrogenic, kidney, K, once again, potassium, we need to remember. I said the kidney. When you will study the kidney, then you will say how this potassium is important electrolyte that is maintained by the kidney potassium, kidney K potassium. So once again, the nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, a single thought, K hypokalemia is an important cause. The other causes I put next to the K is the L. So the next important cause that we need to remember, once again, L for lithium toxicity. Another drug, I put the L, low cyclin, means this is demiclocycline. Just write it down what I am saying, low cyclin and lithium. Next to the L that I can remember, there is M for KLM, we can write, yes, M for mutation. This is genetic cause, the mutation. Why are the mutation? Aquaporin 2 channels. But within this mutation, within the bracket, there is a vasopressin receptor is more common than aquaporin 2 channel mutations. Just write it down. Next to the M, that we need to remember, that is tubulointerstitial nephritis, and make a small box of the OOPS. That will be tin OOPS. That will be helpful to remember. Yes, tubulointerstitial nephritis. Yes, once again, O for obstruction, P for pyelonephritis, and S for, once again, sickle cell disease. So these OOPS, tubulointerstitial nephritis, that will be helpful. So my dear, I'd like to discuss a little bit more so that we can remember more than easily. That will be really helpful. Alright, so what is that? Let's do it. I said the craniopharyngioma. Craniopharyngioma, diabetes insipidus, craniopharyngioma, diabetes insipidus, nephrogenic, kidney, K for potassium, hypokalemia. Remember these two important things. And cranial diabetes insipidus, craniopharyngioma, testiocerezax, and next, cranial injury, cranial surgery, and last but not the least, the cold France. We remember the rule of 6. Next one is the nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. I say the K. K means K. K means potassium. So you need to remember this one, this box. This box is really important. So K, once again, potassium, K, next to the K is the L for lithium. We must remember L for low cyclin, N for mutation, and T. K, L, M, T, alright, no problem. So tubulointerstitial nephritis. So why I'm saying this M, after the M is an N, so we can write tubulointerstitial nephritis. So nephritis, I'm talking of the nephritis. So K, L, M, N, we can remember N, OOPS. So OOPS means the obstruction, pyelonephritis, and sickle cell disease. Knowing this one, actually, we are definitely we can do all the causes of cranial diabetes insipidus and nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. So one of the important things you see, now I'll talk a little bit. Diabetes insipidus, what is that? Diabetes insipidus is nothing but ADH problem, anti-diuretic hormone, absent. So anti-diuretic hormone is releasing from the hypothalamus, then coming to the posterior pituitary. So pituitary gland problems, so the ADH will be absent. So this is called the cranial diabetes insipidus. But pituitary is releasing the ADH, then comes to the kidney. So that is not working because of receptor problem or maybe any drugs problem, anything else. So this is nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. So diabetes insipidus is the anti-diuretic hormone problem. Means ADH absent or reduced or not working. Same talk, or not working means the resistance. ADH is responsible for anti-diuretic hormone. Means ADH is responsible for water reabsorption from the urine, making the urine to be concentrated urine. So if the ADH is absent or maybe not working in the kidneys, so diuresis will be happen, anti-diuretic hormone, so diuresis will be happen, so the diluted urine. So diabetes insipidus, if you say very simply, is nothing but diuresis. Means diluted urine instead of concentrated urine. And this diluted urine means urine osmolality will be reduced. In contrast, plasma osmolality will be up. And this diagnostic test, we do the diagnostic test, is nothing but water deprivation test. Box. So that is the thing of the diabetes insipidus, causes and the diagnostic test and why it is happening, diabetes insipidus. So my dear, listen very carefully, another box, a small box I am giving here. If we have the polyuria, means polydipsia, this is nothing but the word, these two words is nothing but, I say always this is diabetes. Polyuria, polydipsia, dipsia means the diabetes once again. So diabetes having DM is the first cause and diabetes insipidus is the second cause. So diabetes mellitus, sugar definitely will be high. In contrast, diabetes insipidus, sugar will be normal. So provided the sugar is normal, still the polyuria and polydipsia, so think about diabetes insipidus. And after that, think about diabetes insipidus cranial, diabetes insipidus kidney. Cranial kidney, craniopharyngioma. And histiocytes X. And K for potassium. The summary talk that I would like to do here, the first talk, that the craniopharyngioma, kidney potassium, kidney K. And the summary talk is diabetes insipidus is nothing but dilated urine, means the urine osmolality will be reduced, plasma osmolality will be high. And the diagnostic test is the water deprivation test. That is the summary. So once again, the summary is diabetes insipidus craniopharyngioma, histiocytosis. So craniopharyngioma, nephrogenic kidney K, hypokalemia, hypercalcemia, L, KL, MN, L for lithium, low cyclin, M for mutation, but yes, the aquaporin is less common than that of the, I say, the vasopressin receptor. In your notes you'll see. And once again the N for nephrogenic, you see, KLMN. And these are the OOPs, so other causes. And these are helpful, my dear, I hope. Thank you. Hello, my dear doctors. Right, so water deprivation test is a 3-star topic once again. Just follow me what is written in your notes. Prevent patient drinking water. Ask the patient to empty bladder and hourly urine and plasma osmolysis. You see in your notes that is written some of the data is given. Normal, the starting plasma osmolarity is normal. Final urine osmolarity greater than 600 and urine osmolarity post DDAVP is greater than 600. What does it mean? So starting plasma osmolarity means normal. Final urine osmolarity is greater than 600. It does mean water deprivation. Let's think about it, right? If you are not taking water, so of course the urine osmolarity, the final urine osmolarity will be more and more because water is not there. So water is not there, so definitely it will stimulate releasing the ADH antidiuretic hormone more and more and causing more and more water reabsorption from the urine, causing more and more concentrated urine. So that's why you're getting the urine osmolarity is greater than 600. And of course the urine osmolarity after DDAVP means the ADH is giving through the injections. So yes, it will also greater than 600. So this is normal response. In contrast, you see the cranial diabetes insipidus and nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. Don't look at the psychogenic polydipsia now. I am saying the cranial DI and nephrogenic DI. You see the starting plasma osmolarity is high, as I say. Because of ADH is releasing from the not releasing, so no ADH, so no diuresis means no diluted, right? Means the diluted urine more and more. So plasma concentration or plasma osmolarity will be very, very high. So initial means the starting plasma osmolarity will be high and urine osmolarity will be low. It is written, you see. High and low means less than 300. Same thing, nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, if the starting plasma osmolarity is high and final urine osmolarity is less than 300. But you see the cranial diabetes insipidus is the urine osmolarity post DDAVP is greater than 600. Means after giving this ADH, so if it is working, so it does mean the kidney is good, it's not coming from higher center. So it does mean this is cranial diabetes insipidus. The differentiating points, I always say this box and this simple box will be really helpful to decide your diagnosis. Just write it down, post DDAVP equal to, just write it down greater than 600, or I say the double 2 times diagnosis diabetes insipidus cranial. Done. This box, whenever, listen very carefully, whenever we have the water deprivation test, we just look directly into the post DDAVP data. If the post DDAVP data is greater than 600 or doubles 2 times the initial part, so this is the diabetes insipidus cranial. This is the one induction to interpret diabetes insipidus. If it is still low, not more than 600, not doubles the earlier result of urine osmolarity, then definitely this is nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. Means if it is still less than 300, initial less than final urine osmolarity, and after DDAP also less than 300, so that's it. In between, right, the 400 you see, psychogenic polydipsia is the starting plasma osmolarity low, final urine osmolarity is greater than 400, and urine osmolarity post DDAP is more than 400. So this is psychogenic polydipsia. So another PP, just write it down, 400, 400. This box will be helpful. Same thing, you see the DIN, nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, just write it down, 300, 300, that will be helpful. So these three boxes, my dear, as I told, right? This is important. So these boxes will be helpful to think about, right? The diabetes insipidus interpretation, whether it's cranial, whether it's nephrogenic, whether it's psychogenic polydipsia, PP. I said the cranial diabetes insipidus, post DDAPP greater than 600, done. If it is not, means less than 300, less than 300, 300, 300, diabetes insipidus, nephrogenic. Get them all by heart. It will be helpful. Don't think too much. Next, in between, middle, you see, 400, 400, greater than, so psychogenic polydipsia. Sometimes the people know them very, very well, get them by heart, but it's really difficult. Why to look fast? So, looking fast, once again I say, the first step is the post-DDAPP. Directly look into your data, post-DDAPP greater than 600 or doubles the initial urine plasma osmolarity. Diagnosis, cranial diabetes insipidus. If it is less than 300, 300, yes, nephrogenic, in between 400, 400, greater than, yes, PP means psychogenic polydipsia.